Yeah, unfortunately, Peter Shankman. Anyone here actually know who Peter Shankman is, or am I talking to myself? Who he is? He is. I did say he. Right. Peter's bio says he's on Twitter. Says me consulting, angel investing, speaking, Vocus small biz evangelist, Harrow founder, Ironman, skydiver. Told I'm knowledgeable about social media. And all of that is an understatement, I might add. So Peter's going to talk to us about what changes he makes and why what he does matters, hopefully. Unfortunately, he missed a flight connection because of storms in the US, which is why he's not here. But he's going to be joining us by Skype. I've been asked to sort of be your voice here. And let's see if we can get him up. How are we doing? Yes, no? Don't you love tech? Ooh.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Peter. Can you hear us?
Howdy. I'm just putting on my headphones. Yep, just putting on my headphones. Hang on a second.
Way. Oh, you're big.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Not from me, sweetie.
Oh, not indeed.
Welcome to Light Minds, Peter. I've just read your bio from
Here.
Twitter and said it was an understatement. So, do you want to kick off?
Surely. Let me open my PowerPoint. Hang on one second, and we can go from there. My my apologies for it's about 100 degrees where I am right now, and I have no idea how to get the temperature down. Okay, good. So, okay, yeah. So, if everyone's ready, I guess we could start.
We're ready.
Sounds like a plan? Okay. We spend a lot of time in this industry, I think, on a regular basis, talking about pretty much any industry that in any way uses marketing or social. It talks about everything from how to get fans and followers, in general, how to grow likes. But what I find is that no one ever talks about the concept of actually how to be liked. You know, I'm not talking about getting a like, having someone click on a page. I'm talking about the fact that no one ever talks about getting yourself liked, becoming a better person, and having people like you. And normally, you'd think it's the stuff that we learned in second grade. But for whatever reason, no one ever talks about it, and we tend to not bring it up. So I'd like to bring that up. I'd like to spend my next 20 minutes talking about how to be liked and how to be sort of a decent person that people want to be involved with and want to hang out with. So we can go to the, I guess, the second slide, which is the one of me from 1980. And that is, what you're looking at there is actually it's a real typed page from when I was in, I guess, second grade, maybe third grade, telling exactly what I did. And if you look at it, if you know me or know anything about me, there is no difference between that there in 1980 and today in 2012. The only possible difference is today we don't necessarily, we just say, we get rid of all that and we just say, Peter has ADHD, he should be on Adderall. And one of the things I found is that this level of difference, this level of being sort of a different person, as it were, and not being your typical normal kid just like everyone else, actually benefited me. First and foremost, what I found out is that when you're different, when you're not like everyone else, people tend to remember you. And for good or bad, people tend to remember you. And when people tend to remember you, they tend to talk about you. When they tend to talk about you in a positive way, they do your PR for you. And they sort of warm up the crowd, as it were, by telling everyone how great you actually are. The interesting thing about publicity or promoting yourself is that no one believes how great you are if you're the one who has to tell them. Go to the next slide, the yellow background there. So if you have to tell people how great you are, no one's going to believe it. And quite the opposite, it actually makes you sort of more of a douche if you're the one going out there saying how great you are. So I find it very beneficial to let other people do that for you. I'd say the biggest thing that I've noticed in terms of people liking you or sort of being in a good spirit where people want to be with you is to understand that there's your normal level of crap that everyone expects. Everyone expects to be treated primarily like crap. If you look at the last time you went into a fast food restaurant and you ordered a Coke, or you ordered a Diet Coke and they gave you a Coke, or you went to a dry cleaners because they said your stuff would be done on Thursday and it wasn't done until Monday. You know, we expect that. We expect to be treated primarily like crap in our daily lives. If you could treat your customers or your clients or your friends one level above crap, here's the thing, it doesn't even have to be good. You don't have to treat your customers, your clients, or your friends well. You just have to treat them one level above crap. You become a better person than everyone else. A perfect example of that is when you fly and you get the upgrade. We don't expect that on a regular basis. But if you get the upgrade, you tell the world about it because it's something out of the ordinary and it's something out of the normal of being treated like crap. So ask yourself every day, and I do this every morning, what can I do for 5 different people that takes 30 seconds and makes their day a little better or helps them out in some way? So I look and see what my friends are doing. What are they working on? You know, what are their latest projects? And is there any info that I can find online that tells them about that? I know someone who's currently involved in a huge legal battle, and I simply created a Google alert on the stuff that he's fighting and the reason he's in court. And when the Google alert kicks, it's very easy to send it over to him and say, hey, FYI, this just broke in the New York Times or whatever, thought it might be of help. And you're remembered that way, as opposed to just being recalled. So your job is to get other people to say how adjective you are, as opposed to you doing it yourself. To go back to the social media world for a second, and we can go to the next slide, if you look at the concept of our great friend Willy Wonka here, every single social media consultant in the world tends to say it's about fans, it's about engagement, it's not about revenue. Be different in this industry, make it about revenue, you'll never lack for work. We can shoot over the next slide. The number one thing I've learned is that what tends to set us apart and makes more people like you than not is having a solid grasp of the fundamentals. And that includes knowing how to write. So if you read the slide above you right now, which should give you the basic rules, and for some reason the screen that was looking at all of you just went dark, so I have no idea if any of you are still alive or if there's been some giant bomb that hit Exeter or whatever's going on. But, there we go.
It's fine, Peter. It's fine.
Okay, glad to know you're still alive. I'm a huge fan of knowing how to write. If you look around you, if you look at emails that you get on a regular basis from the majority of everyone out there, they have spelling errors. Having an iPhone or a Droid or an iPad or writing an email as you're walking down the street or on the subway is no excuse for bad spelling. And if you look at, I think a study came out that said 1 out of every 4 websites that sell something have a spelling error on their homepage, a spelling or grammar error. Why would I trust you to 1 out of every 4 websites that sell something actually have a spelling or grammar error on the homepage. That was a study that was done about 6 months ago. Why would I trust you to send me my product on time in the way that I ordered it if you can't even spell or use proper grammar on your homepage? And so the question becomes, knowing how to write and being a little different will benefit you. Bad writing and I say this all the time when I give speeches in America, bad writing is destroying the United States. Bad writing is destroying America. It'll kill your business and kill your brand, your personal brand, or your professional brand faster than cancer. Bad writing is one of the main reasons that you are not liked or that people do not trust you. And it's not that hard to master writing. I encourage you to find an hour in your day, every day, or at least once a week, and take a writing class. Anyone who works for me can take as many writing classes as they want, whenever they want, and I'll pay for it. Because I'm such a believer that good writing separates the best from the worst. Bad writing will destroy you. It will destroy your business. I got a resume 2 years ago from a woman who went to Harvard University. And she was graduating and she wanted her first job, and she emailed me telling me that she wanted to work for me. The last line of her cover letter said, "I look forward to the opportunity to work for you." She actually put the letter 4, or the number 4 in the letter U.
There's a lot of giggling going on here, Peter.
Yeah, there should be. I sent her back a note that said, "You will not be working for me. And if you don't learn to write, you will be working for McDonald's." And then of course, I had to sign it. LOLs, Peter.
Round of applause there, Peter, for you.
So yeah, I cannot stress enough how important writing is. And the funny thing about it is that, it's not hard to do. We just tend not to do it. So take the extra 5 seconds, become a better writer. It will benefit you in all facets of life, and you will be more liked. Let's go to the next slide and brace yourselves for this one. So,
woohoo!
Yeah, so that's not me, sadly. That's a guy named Stefan Pintos. Stefan used to be about 400 pounds, and living in Florida and eating basically everything, small children or whatever. And then they built a Whole Foods next door to his apartment, and he discovered Whole Food sandwiches and salads and yogurt. And he dropped like 200 pounds and learned to bodybuild. And now he's signed in LA by Wilhelmina. So he wrote a book called 50 Ways from Fat to Thin, or whatever it was. And he had some sales, but he wanted to increase sales. Keep in mind, this is a guy who used to be fat. So for him to do something like this, to go out of his comfort zone, was huge. He created this poster and made a giant billboard. He bought a billboard on Santa Monica Boulevard in California, in Los Angeles. If you QR code his poster, you get a link to his book. And this was the poster that went up there, and the concept was, if he could get people to QR code the book, they would notice him with this. Well, he has video of, of course, every woman driving on Santa Monica Boulevard stopped their car to a halt and ran out and QR coded the poster. But the video he has that I think is even funnier is guys walking down the street or stopping their car and pulling out their phones and QR coding the poster, but doing it kind of like this. And he sold tons and tons and tons of books. So what's the answer here? This is a former fat guy, so for him to do something like this is huge. The answer is nothing exciting ever happens if you stay in your comfort zone. We are born with the logic of staying in our comfort zones because it's easy. But when we stay in our comfort zones, nothing exciting ever happens, and we don't grow. And you can use grow looking at this photo in any capacity you want. There's a woman, I'm going to show you the next slide in a second. There's a woman named Amanda Steinberg. Amanda Steinberg is a lovely woman from Philadelphia. You can tweet her at Amanda Steinberg, Steinberg. She runs a wonderful website that I'm an investor in called dailyworth.com. It's a great financial website for women, email newsletter. And she's a very quiet, reserved young lady who was asked to be in the Elizabeth Arden Breast Cancer Awareness Calendar last year. So we can go to her picture, which is the next slide. So that's Amanda. For her to go topless in a national calendar was something so far out of her comfort zone that she said that she cried the entire night before, trying to figure out how she could get out of it. But she did it, and she looks stunning. And this calendar ran all over the country. Now, in terms of comfort zones, she's actually quite attractive. So it's probably a lot easier for someone like her to go and do this, as opposed to, say, the next slide. So the calendar, I suggested they call it. It had 12 bloggers, 12 new media, social media people, 11 hot women, and myself. And I suggested they call the calendar not the Elizabeth Arden Breast Cancer Awareness Calendar, but rather the And Peter Calendar, as in, wow, 11 really hot. Wait, and Peter? One of these things is not like the other. But if you go outside your comfort zone, things happen. Who reached out to me on Twitter to congratulate me for doing this? But Elizabeth Hurley. And a couple of years ago when I was in London, I met her for coffee, which probably wouldn't have happened had I not taken off my shirt. Of course, the irony being that I'm shocked to think that by actually taking off my shirt actually produced something good. But yeah, we met for coffee. So it's having that, and also this photo is photoshopped 10 times to shit. So just so you know that I told them I'd sue them if they didn't Photoshop me.
That's not true.
But it's really about going outside your comfort zone. You never know what sort of new connections you're going to make when you go outside your comfort zone. I know about
you had a big crush on Liz Hurley at the time. I seem to remember as well.
Massive crush, yes, massive crush. Because and I'm sure that's gone away. I'm sure I don't have one on her anymore. So if you, I know I have about 6 minutes left, so I'm going to blow through the rest of these. I saw this next one on a greeting card once, and it's really true. The caption says, "Oh, look at the time. It's about freaking time to get over whatever the hell is bothering you and get on with your life." The problem with social media as we know it is, and we all have friends like this, the person who posts on Facebook, they either post, "Oh, such a horrible day. I'm so miserable. This is just never going to end. Why is this drama affecting me? Why does God hate me so much?" Or they post the other thing, which is, "God, I wish some people would just come out and say what they really mean and not create," essentially you want to be like, "Bitch, just say what your friggin' problem is." And what I've learned is these people are very, very downer type people, and I have absolutely no problem unfriending them. People tend to complain when given an outlet. If you listen the next time your flight is delayed and you land an hour late, don't pull out your cell phone, but listen to everyone else pull out theirs. All they're going to do is complain. When we're upset, we're not truly miserable until we've made everyone else around us miserable as well. That's the society we are. And so you have two options. You can complain, or you can, pardon my French here, you can fix your shit. And I see too many people taking the route of complaining, and it's just, not only is it a waste of time, but it brings everyone down. I don't need to see 400 status updates from people who are just miserable. Figure out how to make yourself feel better without bringing it down to the rest of the world. Another interesting thing that I found, and we can go to the next slide. It's a woman named Becky Johns. She is a photographer. When I was starting in Help a Reporter, she said, "Hey, how do I get a T-shirt?" And I created a bunch of T-shirts for her, and I started giving them out to people with the premise that they had to take great photos of themselves, and we'd promote it. And so it became this sort of running contest. Where could people go, and what kind of great photos could they take? And what wound up happening is that we would get hundreds of photos of people doing our PR for us because we gave them something of value that they loved. Oh, I'm special enough to get a T-shirt? Let me take a great photo. So that's Becky Johns. And the next photo, we can go down to the next slide, that's Becky Rose. Becky's a friend of mine who, after her graduate school thesis, said, "If you send me a shirt, I'll wear it when I take my spring break." And so she went down to South Carolina, and she did the classic female woo pose where they go into the water and they get dressed and they go woo. So that's people were promoting Harrow all over the world and sending us the photos because we asked them to. I have another photo of a guy on a camel in Oman. I didn't even know they had internet access there, but he's all over that. So it really is about figuring out ways to promote yourself. I know I have 3 minutes left, so I'm going to blow through this really fast.
You've got a bit longer, Peter. You've got a bit longer.
Oh, do I? Okay.
Yeah. You've
Great.
got about
Okay.
9 minutes.
Perfect. Okay, then I can slow down. Let's go to the next slide. This is during the Cozumel Ironman. Let me give you an idea of my first Ironman. I did my first Ironman 2 years ago, and I was sponsored by I don't know if do they have Jelly Bellies over in the UK? I'm sure they do.
No,
Jelly
they
Belly?
don't.
No, they don't. Okay. Essentially, they're jelly beans. There's a company called Jelly Bellies. They make jelly beans, and they make much like Gatorade. They make something called sport beans, which are jelly beans with electrolytes in them and sugar and caffeine. It's supposed to keep you going through a race, and they taste good. They taste like jelly beans. So Sport Beans reached out to me and asked if they could sponsor me during my Ironman. So I'm standing on the dock of the Ironman, about to go in the water 30 minutes before the race starts. And this guy next to me, this German guy, comes over to me, and he's sponsored by Cervelo Bikes, which is the fastest triathlon bike in the world. He weighs about 1/8 of what I do. And he looks at me and goes, I see you are sponsored. Are you hoping to place or to win today? And I look at him, and you gotta realize he's this tall, thin German guy who obviously eats, sleeps, and drinks triathlon. And then there's me in my candy shirt. And so he goes, I go, I'm sorry, am I hoping to, he goes, yeah, you're hoping to place? I see you are a sponsored athlete. I'm like, and so I looked at him, I'm like, dude, you're sponsored by Cervelo Bikes. I'm sponsored by candy. I don't think I'm going to win. And he goes, well, you should try to do your best anyway. I'm like, right, go over there, you're too thin. And he totally pissed me off, but he gave me this great idea. I knew I wasn't going to win. I mean, come on, really? I knew I wasn't going to win. My time goal was like same day for this race. And knowing that I wasn't going to win, I'm like, what is an extra 3 seconds? So during the swim, I saw a photographer underwater. And while everyone else, you see the Chinese guy over there swimming and the guy on the right, everyone's swimming, I stopped and gave a thumbs up. Because my logic was, you know what, an extra 3 seconds? So I'll finish in 15 hours, 45 minutes, and 44 seconds. Oh well. But that became one of the greatest photos ever. You want to see an awesome Facebook background photo? Look at that. So do the things that you think might not work, but what do you have to lose? And here's the funniest part. So I talk about all these great things. I talk about how to be liked. I talk about how what a great time I have and what a great life. But the funniest thing is that, and we can go to the next slide, is that a lot of it's all bullshit. Because no matter how great I feel, whatever, I look in the mirror and chances are this is what I see. We're all going to feel that way. Just because we project this great image doesn't mean that inside we're not totally waiting for someone to call us out and tell us that we're full of crap. So once you understand that everyone else is like that and that you're not the only one thinking that, it makes it a lot easier because you're the only one who knows it. Everyone else thinks they're the only one who's scared and who's I spend every day of my life waiting to be called out. Today's the day they're going to find out I'm completely full of crap. Today's the day. It's going to be a huge New York Times article, right next to piece of cord reached the Middle East and Peter Shankman is totally full of crap. Like, I'm waiting to see that. But I go through each day and it doesn't happen. But at least I know that I believe everyone else feels that same way too. And it makes it a little easier. And keep in mind that no matter how hard you work, there's always going to be someone who, for whatever reason, is doing better than you. Even if you're a millionaire and then Zuckerberg becomes a billionaire. Someone's always going to be better than you. Go to the next slide to prove my point. I'll let you take that next slide in. I'm waiting to hear if anyone's laughing. I love that slide.
They're giggling, don't worry.
That is my favorite slide because I often feel like that manatee. And I'm just sort of laying on the beach looking really fat. And, all the supermodels are walking around. But, again, everyone feels like that. And what you have to keep in mind is that, and we can go to the next slide, is that you're going to have haters. You're always going to have haters. If you don't have haters, if there's not someone out there who hates you, not one person, then you're not doing enough. in your life to change the status quo?
Great slide, Peter.
I'm sorry?
Great slide.
Oh, which slide? It's the cat.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gab, you broke up a little bit there.
I said, like, great slide of the cat. That's
Oh,
all.
yeah. Okay, great. So yeah, if you don't have haters, you're not doing enough to change the status quo. And what I love about that is that haters, especially online, haters tend to come out of the woodwork because they're protected by the anonymity of the computer. You know, they can tweet, Peter, you're an asshole. It's just a Twitter handle. They don't expect you to respond. So I respond to every hater. I personally go out, well, hey, thanks, sorry to hear you think I'm an asshole. Just curious, what? 90% of the time, I never hear from them again. But that other 10% of the time, we actually start a dialogue. And I've been able to convert every hater that I've actually reached out to that's reached back to me. I've been able to convert every single one of them into a lover. The best lovers in the world are people who used to hate you. Think about it. You ever been with someone who really didn't like you, and eventually you convinced them to have sex with you? It's some of the best sex you'll ever have in your life. Turning haters into lovers is a talent. And if you can do it, no one is more vocal about how awesome you are than a lover who used to hate you. So figure out a way to turn haters into lovers just by reaching out. I thought I took the next slide out. The next slide should be the giving up slide, not the rules of grammar again, right?
We've just gone past the grammar. We're on to suffering and strength.
Great. Should be the right. That is a sort of my trainer gave that to me once. And of course, he gave it to me after beating the living crap out of me in a session, so I didn't really appreciate it at the time. But it's very true. Somewhere between suffering and strength is not giving up. And I'm not a huge fan of math or Venn diagrams, but that one really does work. There are going to be days where you want to quit. I mean, not a day goes by where I don't want to quit at some point. But you fight through it, and that's what happens. Go to the next slide.
Peter, you're breaking up a little. Can you slow down?
Your comfort zone again. Is that any better? Okay.
That's better.
So, okay. So the next slide has a wonderful photo of my assistant in a wetsuit being scared to death as a penguin approaches her. And it's one of my favorite photos in the whole world. We were invited to go to the National Aviary and swim with penguins. My assistant is not a big fan of change. And to convince her to do this was a miracle. When she did it, she came in the next day and she was an entirely different person. She could not stop raving about what she did, how amazing it was, where can I go buy a penguin? I mean, it was life-changing. And yet, 48 hours earlier, she was crying, saying there's no way she could ever do it. Whenever you're afraid of trying something new, imagine yourself 48 hours later and how awesome you're going to feel. That usually gets me through it. I only have a couple more slides. The next one is actually very simple. It goes back to the concept of not giving up. The slide after that, if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't do great things for other people. So last year was a game-changing year for me, and I learned all about fitness and health, and eating right, and it's life-changing. And it's really not that hard. Drink water. If you do nothing else, just drink more water. Last two slides.
You've got about 30 seconds, Peter.
Last two slides. Carry a camera with you everywhere. It's not that hard because we all have camera phones. Document everything. And not even for public view. Just document everything so you can show it to your kids one day. This is one of my favorite photos. It's nothing that special, but it's the day that I sold Help a Reporter. And I was signing all the documents to sell it. And I'll always remember that photo. And then lastly, last slide, just have fun. No matter if you do nothing else in this world, try to have a good time. Try to live your life. Try to have fun. Try to make a difference in the life of an adult and a child. And just don't be a dick. That's how to be liked. That's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for joining us, Peter. It was really great, as always.
My pleasure.
Hope we'll see you in person down in Exeter at some point at Like Minds.
No question. Take care, guys.
Okay, bye.